10th Physical Science Lesson Chemical Bonding. Topic: Ionic Bond. Ionic bond means when two elements involved in a reaction transfer the electrons from one element to another element is called ionic bond. Here, for example, sodium chloride is given. Formation of sodium chloride. Sodium chloride means NaCl. Here sodium chloride electron configuration 281 and chlorine electron configuration 287. Sodium has a one extra electron and chlorine has a one less electron for getting octet positions. When these two elements are involved in reaction forming the compound sodium chloride. Here sodium donate the one electron for getting the octet position. Octet position means outer shell contains 8 electrons for removing 1 electron from outer shell. Next, chlorine getting the octet position for getting the 1 electron. Okay. So when sodium donate the 1 electron for getting the octet position as a neon, chlorine getting the 1 electron, so it also getting the octet position as a argon. 288 and 288. Sodium 28 and neon also 28. Opposite charged ions, sodium cation and chlorine anion attracted by electrostatic forces and form the compound sodium chloride. So between sodium and chloride there is a electrostatic forces between them and forming the sodium chloride compound. So when sodium giving the 1 electron, so loss is 1 electron, so it is called cation. When chlorine getting the 1 electron, so it is called anion. Okay. Next, formation of magnesium chloride. Formula MgCl2. So magnesium atomic number 12 and electron configuration 282. So outer shell contains 2 electrons. Next, magnesium chloride. Next, chloride. So how many chloride atoms are there? 2 chlorine atoms are there, and first chlorine electron configuration 287. Second chlorine atom electron configuration 287. So first one wanted 1 electron for getting octet position, and second chlorine atom also wanted 1 electron to getting the octet position. So here one magnesium atom contains extra 2 electrons. So these two electrons donated two chlorine atoms. Okay. So when magnesium, one atom magnesium and two chlorine atoms involved in the reaction for forming the compound magnesium chloride. So when magnesium lost these two extra electrons and forming the octet positions 2,8 as a neon 2,8. When two chlorine atoms receiving the 1 extra electrons for getting the octet position 288 288 as a argon 288 octet positions. One magnesium atom transfers two electrons, one each to two chlorine atoms and form magnesium chloride. How many magnesium atoms are? One magnesium atom is there. And how many chlorine atoms are there? Two chlorine atoms are there. So the formula is MgCl2. Next, formation of disodium monoxide. Disodium monoxide. Formula Na2O. Disodium means 2Na. Two atoms of sodium is given here plus O2. O2 minus 1 means two sodium atoms given 1 electrons. So donated 2 electrons here. First sodium contains 1 extra electron and second sodium contains 1 extra electrons. So both sodium atoms donated 2 electrons to oxygen. So oxygen electron configuration 2 6. So oxygen wanted 2 electrons for getting octet positions. So here when sodium and oxygen involved in reaction forming the compound sodium oxide. So sodium losing the 2 electrons and getting the octet position. First sodium atom getting the octet position 2,8 and second sodium also getting the octet position 2,8 as a neon 2,8. And oxygen also getting the octet position when received the 2 electrons from the sodium. So here also we can see the oxygen as a octet position for getting the 2 electrons 2,8. Two sodium atoms transfer 1 electron each to 1 oxygen atom to form 2 Na and O2 minus attracted to form Na2O. Na2O means sodium monoxide. Here also we can see the cation. 2 sodium atoms donated 2 electrons. So it is called cation. Oxygen getting the 2 electrons. It is called anion. Formation of aluminum chloride. Formula AlCl3. So here how many aluminum atoms are there? Only 1 aluminum atoms are there, and electron configuration 283. It means outer shell contains 3 extra electrons. Next, here how many chlorine atoms are there? 3 chlorine atoms are there. So each chlorine atom wanted a 1 electron. 287, 287, 287. This is electron configuration of 3 chlorine atoms. So when these aluminum and chloride involved in a reaction forming the compound aluminum chloride. Aluminum loses 3 electrons, so it is called cation, and 3 chlorine atoms getting the 1 electron, it is called anion. So aluminum loses the 3 electrons and getting the octet position as an ion. 3 chlorine atoms getting the 1 electrons, getting the octet position as a argon, 288 electrons in the outer shell. Aluminum atom loses 3 electrons and 3 chlorine atoms gain them 1 electron each. Compound AlCl3 is formed. So aluminum losing 3 electrons, it is called cation. Chlorine receiving the electrons, it is called anion. So here we can see the arrangement of ions in ionic compound. Sodium chloride, red color showing the sodium atoms and green color showing the chlorine atoms. So sodium chloride is said to possess phase central cubic lattice crystal structure. So the number of ions of opposite charge that surround a given ion of given charge is known as the coordination number of that given ion. So here we can see the each atom surrounded by opposite charged ions. Coordination number of sodium 6 and that of chlorine is also 6. So one atom surrounded by another 6 atoms. Red surrounded by 6 green and green surrounded by red atoms. Losing electrons to attain octet in their valence shell is called metallic character or electropositivity. Gaining electron is called non-metallic electronegativity. So here we can see all examples. So here when the elements loses the electrons, so it is called metallic characters. So when the electrons gaining from another elements, so this character is called non-metallic character. So here for example sodium 281. So sodium losing the 1 electron and forming the 28. So it is called cation. Chlorine 287 gained 1 electron and forming the electron configuration 288. So it is called anion. The atoms of elements with low ionization. Low ionization means When electrons removing from one element, so it is a low ionization and low electron affinity. Receiving the electron, so then the energy is low and high atomic size and low electronegativity forms cations. It means when the elements losing the electrons, here we can see the low ionization, low electron affinity, high atomic size and low electronegativity forms cations. The atom of element with high ionization, potential, high electron affinity, small atomic size and high electronegativity forms ions. So here when the elements gain the electrons from the another elements, so it shows high ionization potential, high electron affinity, small atomic size, high electronegativity forms anions. So this is all about the ionic bond.